In April of 2024, fitness influencer Joey Swole faced a terrifying near-death experience during what was supposed to be a routine 30-minute heart test. While undergoing an angiogram, a piece of medical equipment broke off inside his heart, causing him to crash mid-procedure. Doctors had to perform a 6-hour emergency surgery to remove the foreign object and stabilize him, even resorting to implanting a heart pump to keep him alive. The lead surgeon described the situation as unprecedented and miraculous, saying Joey came dangerously close to dying on the table. Here's a terrifying video of a diver encountering a candiru fish and clenching his knees for good reason. These spiny parasitic fish have been rumored to swim up human urethras, latching on with barbed spines and requiring extremely painful surgery to remove. While dissecting the donated body of a 78-year-old man, medical students were stunned to find he had not one, not two, but 3 tallywhackers. The 2 extras were tiny tucked-away trouser snakes hiding deep in his beanbag. But since they were completely hidden and non-functional, there's a good chance the guy went his whole life unaware he was packing a secret sausage trio. In 2007, Miles Teller narrowly survived a horrific car crash when the vehicle he was inside of flipped 8 times at nearly 80 miles per hour, ejecting him through a window and flinging his body over 30 feet. He was found unconscious and covered in blood, with deep facial gashes and a broken wrist, injuries that required years of painful laser treatments. As if that weren't enough, within the next year, Miles lost 2 of his closest friends in separate vehicle accidents just weeks apart. One was killed in a motorcycle crash and the other in a car accident. Both devastating losses that deeply affected Teller in his early 20s. As a result, the actor developed a profound sense of gratitude and now takes nothing for granted, an outlook that deeply influences both his personal life and career. In 1992, Annette Herfkens was the sole survivor of a plane crash that killed all 30 others on board, including her fiancé. The aircraft went down in the remote Vietnamese jungle just 50 minutes into the flight. Trapped inside the mangled wreckage with a collapsed lung, broken ribs, and surrounded by rotting corpses, she was too injured to leave the crash site. For 8 days, she fought to stay alive by drinking rainwater as the stench of death closed in. As her body weakened, she even considered cannibalizing the bodies around her, but didn't have the strength for it. When rescuers finally arrived, she was barely conscious, buried in wreckage and decay next to the corpse of the love of her life, but she eventually made a full recovery. Macho Man Randy Savage died from a massive heart attack while driving with his wife, as an autopsy later found his coronary artery to be 90% blocked. Just a few days before he died, Randy had a routine checkup with his doctor who suggested a heart scan, which would have easily detected the fatal blockage, but Randy decided to put it off until his next visit. Known as the Meteor, this was the result of 5 floors of the World Trade Center being compressed together when the towers collapsed on 9/11. It's not known if there are human remains inside. After failing to assassinate King Louis XV in 1757, Robert Francois Damiens was sentenced to be executed by having his skin ripped open, molten lead and sulfur poured into his wounds, and dismemberment by 4 horses. Upon hearing this, Damiens replied, "Well, it's going to be a tough day." During the execution, Damiens was reportedly still alive after all of his limbs were ripped off, so his remaining torso was burned at the stake. In 2003, U.S. forces at Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq photographed a hooded detainee standing on a box with wires attached to his hands. He was told that if he moved or fell, he would be electrocuted instantly. The man, Ali Shalal Al-Qazi, said he was forced to stand like that for hours at a time over multiple days, never knowing whether the threat was real. He also reported being beaten, electrocuted, sexually assaulted, and left with permanent injuries to his genitals and spine. The photo became one of the most disturbing images of the Iraq War, and a lasting symbol of how far the war on terror had fallen. In 2007, 8-year-old Amarjeet Sada became the world's youngest serial killer after brutally murdering 3 infants, including his own baby sister and cousin, by smashing their skulls with bricks. When finally caught after killing a neighbor's 6-month-old daughter, he confessed with a chilling smile, showing no remorse as he reenacted the murders for police. Even more disturbing, villagers knew about the earlier killings but kept silent to protect his family. Too young for prison under Indian law, Amarjeet was sent to a juvenile facility, then quietly released as an adult with a new identity. The former child killer's current whereabouts are unknown. In 2008, 24-year-old real estate agent Lindsay Buziak was lured to a home in British Columbia by a mysterious couple using fake names and a prepaid burner phone. The woman who contacted her spoke with a strange fake-sounding accent and insisted that they were in a rush to buy $1 million home, but said they would only deal with Lindsay even though she was a newer agent. The call made her uneasy, and she confided in friends and family that something felt off. Out of caution, she asked her boyfriend to be nearby during the showing. But as soon as she entered the home with the supposed clients, she was brutally stabbed over 40 times. There were no signs of robbery or sexual assault, and nothing was damaged. Lindsay's boyfriend arrived minutes later and found her dying upstairs, but the killers had vanished. The burner phone used to set up the meeting was deactivated immediately after the murder. Despite public pleas, heavy media coverage, and theories ranging from drug-related retaliation to a personal hit, Lindsay's case still remains unsolved. After winning 4 gold and 2 silver medals in the 2012 Olympics, making him the most successful Olympic athlete in history, Michael Phelps became deeply depressed. He felt as though his sense of purpose had been completed, and was consumed with so much emptiness that he contemplated taking his own life. Uday Hussein, the son of Saddam, was named chairman of the Iraqi Olympic Committee in 1984. Athletes who disappointed him were subject to torture and imprisonment after the games. Kelvin Kiptum is the current world record holder for the men's marathon, but sadly passed away earlier this year after driving his car into a tree. If he hadn't been killed, he likely would have become the first person to run an official marathon in under 2 hours. Security guard Richard Jewell saved hundreds of lives by spotting a bomb and alerting police at the 1996 Olympics. He was later wrongly accused of the crime and spent months enduring media slander despite being a hero. The FBI thoroughly searched his home multiple times and maintained 24-hour surveillance of him before Eric Rudolph confessed to the crime.